The Oklahoma City Thunder are starting to get recognition from other NBA players as being one of the toughest defensive teams in the league next season. Everyone's already predicting them to make it to the finals. NBA All-Stars are saying this. NBA role players are saying this. NBA veterans are saying this. NBA Hall of Famers are saying this. Everyone's kind of agreeing the Oklahoma City Thunder are at least going to make the Western Conference Finals and then have a shot to make it to the 2025 NBA Finals and might even win the whole thing as well if they can piece everything together, because it looks as though they're building this team around defense. And Donovan Mitchell, NBA All-Star, one of the, I think he's the best shooting guard in the league at the moment. That gets a little bit tricky depending on who you put as shooting guard. I'd go based off of the primary position they played last season, but I do think he's the best shooting guard in the league. And him saying that he has the Oklahoma City Thunder to make it to the finals, putting recognition on their defense, how they built this team around the defense for next season, it shows a lot of what players think of the Thunder going into the next season. We're going to break down what he had to say in this video today, along with, the two players he really mentioned heavily when he talked about them. But before we get into all that, though, I want to take a moment and say that 75% of you guys coming back and watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. We have a 2,000 subscriber goal set there before the start of the season. 2 months away from that, I know. We got some time there, but if you guys enjoy the content and you find yourself coming back on a regular basis and you don't want to miss the single minute of the latest content here on Thunder Digest, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. With that out of the way, we can go ahead and get into the video at hand today, talking about what Donovan Mitchell had to say and, go into detail the two players that he mentioned heavily that really are going to be the backbones of the defensive unit for the Oklahoma City Thunder, depending on who starts between them or if both of them end up starting. And it's talking about Lou Dort and Alex Caruso. That is a heavy topic as well, figuring out who will be that starting two guard for the Thunder. Will it be Dort? Will it be Caruso? It just kind of depends. Will it be a shocking guy like, Aaron Wiggins? Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace will be one of those guys. I think it's going to come down between Caruso and Dort, however. So we're going to go ahead, get into what Donovan Mitchell had to say here. And this is from Clemente Almanza as well. I forgot to put down there at the bottom there, but this is by him. This is what he had to say to start off this article that had the quote from Donovan Mitchell. After a productive offseason, the Oklahoma City Thunder have become a popular choice to win a championship next season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's ascension into an MVP candidate is largely responsible for that. The natural progression of Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams rounds out a top trio. One NBA superstar who is high on the Thunder is Cleveland Cavaliers' Donovan Mitchell. The 27-year-old predicts on a recent podcast either OKC or the Minnesota Timberwolves will appear in the 2025 NBA Finals. Before we get into the second part of this article here that includes the Donovan Mitchell quote, I just want to go ahead and do a little comparison with Minnesota, because they do have a good squad there, and I think the Western Conference is going to come down between those two teams and the Dallas Mavericks. Unfortunately, two of those three teams will have to play against each other's in the Western Conference semifinals, and so it's not for sure it's going to be OKC versus Minnesota. It could be OKC versus Dallas, Dallas versus Minnesota. It's like one of those things, Dallas versus OKC, but this time in the Western Conference Finals. I think, one of those three teams will make it to the finals. Two of those three teams will be in the Western Conference Finals. I do have that for sure. We know what Dallas has. We saw them last season as well. They added Klay Thompson and replaced DJJ with Najee Marshall. But talking about the Timberwolves, they have Anthony Edwards, who can be an MVP level player. He's still young, still has a long way to go there, but he does have the talent there. All right, he could be first team All-NBA next year as well. Very well could go up to that level. Outside of that, they have Naz Reid, who is one of the best role players in the league, one of the best bench players as well. They have Naz Reid. I'll go ahead and recognize that. Rudy Gobert, he's getting older. He's not the defensive player he once was. Karl Anthony Towns, I think he's personally overrated. I don't get the hype around Cat. I don't even see him as a top 5 center in the league. I think Victor Wembanyama is already much better than him. And so in those regards, I'm not really scared of anyone on that team outside of Anthony Edwards. Now, they do have some young guys where, in 2 years they could be really dangerous. But I think next year going up against them, I think we win in most of 6 games. All right? I think we beat them in 6-game series. Realistically, 5 games. I don't think they match up as well against us. But going into what else Donovan Mitchell had to say here in the second part of this article, I would say it's probably going to be Minnesota or OKC. Mitchell said, I think Minnesota, they some dogs. I think they figured it out too about themselves. They made some trades and made some different acquisitions and all that, but they figured it out. OKC adding Alex Caruso, I don't think people really understand what that does for that lineup. You've already got Cason Wallace over there. You've got Dort. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not a bad defender himself. You add Alex Caruso to that lineup. Mitchell seems all in on the Thunder's defense, which was a top 5 unit last year. The additions of Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein should help fortify that. So he has the Timberwolves, and I get the Timberwolves, the Minnesota hype. I truly do. I get it. Like I mentioned with Anthony Edwards and Naz Reid, I'm not saying Karl-Anthony Towns is a bad player either, or Rudy Gobert is a bad player. They're good players. I don't think Rudy Gobert matches up with our centers or power forwards, and same with Karl-Anthony Towns. I think Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein are better than both those two guys. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns is better than Isaiah Hartenstein, but I think Chet's better than Cat and Rudy Gobert. I think Hartenstein's better than Gobert. I truly believe that. I think so. Rudy Gobert's not as good as he was. Offensively, he's not that great at all. He's, below average offensively. Defensively, he used to be one of the best defenders in the league. Somehow he won Defensive Player of the Year last year. I don't think he deserved it. He's not as good defensively as he was, so I think we have them beat in those regards there. It's Anthony Edwards and Naz Reid. That's the hype over there. They do have some good other role players as well. I just think in terms of star power and matchup-wise, I feel like next season we match up against Minnesota better. I do. I think we have the matchup set for Minnesota. I think we win in a 5-game series, let alone 6. All right, we win in 5 or 6 against them. I truly believe that. I'm more worried about Dallas. Now, Minnesota might prove me wrong, but I'm more worried about Dallas. So I don't agree with Donovan Mitchell having Minnesota as his pick to make the finals. I think it's going to be us or Dallas making the finals. I do. All right. But going into who we mentioned there with Alex Caruso and Dort, we're going to go ahead and compare first off with Alex Caruso just to show you how significant is he's joining this squad. 10 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, a block a game, just over 1.5 steals a game, less than 2 turnovers, less than 3 fouls a game, 47% shooting from the field, and 41% from behind the three-point line. 6'5". He's 30 years old. He's that veteran presence on this team that we needed. We needed someone with a ring on the squad as well. Like we've mentioned before on the channel, we needed someone with that playoff experience and that championship experience to kind of help us. Okay, we don't know what to do. Let's talk to him, and worst case scenario, we'll throw him in that starting 5 in the playoffs. If we need someone just kind of for that experience, getting that late in the playoffs for that experience, throw him in the starting lineup. That's what we're going to use him for. That is what we're going to use him for. I personally see him as our 6th man. I do. I have Isaiah Hartenstein starting. I think Dort brings you more value in the starting 5 rather than a 6th man and off the bench. But we could see both of them start. When you're looking at the stats here, 40% on corner threes. He's a great catch and shoot guy. He is, which is what we needed. Which is what we really needed, all right? If we're going to go small ball like we were last season, have Isaiah Hartenstein off the bench for us, have Alex Caruso in the starting lineup, we need someone that can be in that corner for, pick and pop scenarios, passing it out to him, help defender coming in, that was on him, boom, he's open in the corner, catch and shoot 3, knocking it down, because Josh Giddey, he just wasn't the greatest catch and shoot guy. He has good assets to, facets to his game. Catch and shooting was not one of them. Now going into Dort here. All right, who I think will be a starter for us no matter what. About 11 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists. So he's not as great of a passer as Alex Caruso, but we really have him defensively, 3-and-D guy. That's why we use him. All right, half a block a game, just at a steal a game, less than a turnover a game, just under 3 fouls a game. 44% shooter from the field and 39% shooter from behind the three-point line. So his shooting numbers are a little bit more down than Alex Caruso, but he does average just about a point a game more than him. 6'3" on the smaller side, 25 years old. He is younger as well. 41% on corner threes, so he's at least doing better in that percentage than Alex Caruso. 99% of his threes are assisted, and 60% of all his shots are threes. He's our 3-and-D guy. And that's what we used him last year. And personally, I think he just brings more value as a starter. Working with Shai, that chemistry there. Working with J-Dub. Working with Chet. Those 3 guys, I feel like he works very well with. And Isaiah Hartenstein, if you throw him in that starting lineup with the passing ability and IQ and vision that Hartenstein has, you'll be able to find Dort on cuts and out there in the corner or wing wide open. And we're going to be able to unlock his true 3-and-D potential there. But Alex Caruso, You could say the same thing. I get the arguments for starting both of them. I do. It's just nice to see, though, NBA players taking notice, like, okay, they've got a squad. All the additions that they have, all the young guys. Cason Wallace as well, getting mentioned by Donovan Mitchell, a guy, one of our rookies who I think he made the All-NBA, or All-Rookie second team. That's impressive for him, as he didn't really get a ton of minutes for us either. All right, but he was a key part of the squad. He was our Lou Dort off the bench. I don't think we need two of them, because I feel like Cason Wallace plays very similar to how Lou Dort plays. I feel like it's very similar. So I'd rather have Cason Wallace coming off the bench instead of having both of them come off the bench. We've got this whole situation and lineup going out there where, okay, we're, our second unit, our guys are going to replace everyone else on the squad. It's the same exact skill set, just not at the same caliber or level. That's what we've got going on right now with our second units. That's why I think we're going to end up trading for another center, so we can truly have like a 10-man deep rotation where we can just swap out each player. Like, okay, you're tired. Let's throw in someone that has that exact same skill set as you. We know it's been working. Boom, we're fine for the next 5-6 minutes or so. That's kind of what's going on there, and that's why I think Lou Dort will start over Alex Caruso. Now, we could see both of them start. We don't know what it's going to look like. Who's going to be that fifth starter? Is it going to be Caruso? Is it going to be Hartenstein? Who knows? All right? No one really knows right now for another 2 months at least. So it's just a situation where we're kind of waiting, and I think Lou Dort will be the starter. It's just nice to see an NBA player actually taking recognition of this. It is. Recognizing, man, this is a good squad that they got going on right now. They're going to be tough to beat. We're going to need to look out for them. But that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys personally think down in the comment section below. Who would you rather have starting, Alex Caruso or Lou Dort? Or do you think both of them will end up starting and Hartenstein off the bench? Let me know what you guys think will be the starting five for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'll see you guys in the next video.